Hi, I'm Ed O'Rourke. Welcome to my layout. I modeled the New Haven Railroad around 1950, and my goal is to represent the area around New Haven Station, where they took the electrics off from New York and put on a steam engine or a diesel and took them up to Boston. That's what you'll see when you come into the layout room. This is a small portion of what got me started in model railroading. My father brought back Marklin 3-rail HO from Germany when he was over there during the Korean War for his boys to play with. And I now have a little bit of it set up here for my grandchildren to play with when they come, which they enjoy running the trains around and seeing them run. So welcome, and thank you for coming. Hope you enjoy the visit. So here we are in the layout room. As you can see, it's a pretty tight space. I had to do a lot of negotiating with the landowner here to get this much space. It is 27 feet from under the stairs over there over to the end of the staging here. It's only about 9 feet wide. And you can't see it, but there's a furnace over there that my furnace guy told me to make sure I left him 3 feet so he could get it out of here one time. He knows I'm a model railroader. And what we have here is New Haven Station. The trains come from here, from Boston, Springfield, and such places, and depart to New York that way. The staging is off line over there. The staging for Boston is actually under the stairs, and staging for New York is over to the right over here. And as we say, the trains come in, we take the electric off, we put the steam engine or the diesel on and send it where it's supposed to go. As I said, this is set in about 1950. I grew up here. There's a 1962 Chevy over there that we used to sit in. That's where we used to sit and watch the trains with my father. As I said, this is about 1950, except that you're going to see some steam engines and some electrics that were scrapped around 1948, and you're going to see some stuff that showed up in 1953 and 54, and even one that came in 1960. So the era's sort of slipped as I've gotten going, but that's I wanted to do the things that I remember. Here, there are 11 staging tracks that represent New York City, Washington, and Maybrook, which was the Western Freight Gateway. As you can see, we use car cards and waybills to do put our trains together. So this section of the layout is Plainville, Connecticut. It's the last piece of the layout that I finished, and it was mostly a COVID project actually, because I had plenty of time and not much to do. The backdrop is from Lark Products. Our friend Bill Brown got that for me just before COVID. It's only a foot deep. It was originally just a switchback where you came up and then went through the wall the other way. It took some doing to camouflage the holes in the wall and to make some kind of believable scenery and some switching that could be done within the very tight confines of the space, and to leave room to get underneath it to get at the staging yards when something is derailed or has to be put back on the track. So the water tower that you see is of brick, is scratch built, based on some photos of the ones that were on the Canal line. The station is again also scratch built, built to the plans for the Plainville station that I had. It's not exact, but close enough. And there really was a J.R. Schlossberg Coal and Coke. If you Google coal dealers in Plainville, Connecticut, you can find the list, and they were there. So that's where I got the name from. So the scene on the platform here shows a young soldier. Remember, this is 1951, who's on his way off to Korea, saying goodbye to his mother and his two sisters. All right. So as you can see, the canal line runs up here, and in real life it crossed the Highland line. The Highland line continues over there, and the canal line is the switchback part, goes back through the hills behind the tourist lodge here and up to Farmington, Connecticut. So this is Farmington, Connecticut, which is the end of my canal line. It would have continued behind this building up to Holyoke, Massachusetts, but it ends at a mirror back there. So this is the hallway closet, and I wasn't allowed to run into there. I like to take buildings that actually have a bunch of buildings that my dad built still on this layout that I've reworked and put back into shape and used. This is a mixture of a bunch of different craftsman kits, some design preservation modulars. This is the Revell printing building based on the Revell engine house that I turned into a flat. There's more parts of it around the layout in various places. This is a Sidem metal kit. It's the only one of those that I've built. They're quite interesting to put together. This is a Junco model of a plumbing supply. Also an interesting thing to put together. Farther down the line here, you will see there's a maintenance of way building that was actually in the Rochester area. That's a Harold Russell drawing that I scratch built. And next to that is one of the New Haven brick pagoda roof towers. There wouldn't have been one up here, but I had the model, and so there is one. This is essentially Collinsville, Connecticut. This line continues over there. It ends at a bumper, but it doesn't really. It goes to New Hartford. That's used sort of as an interchange spot. There are a couple buildings back here worth noting. This is an engine house of some sort or another. That's the Revell engine house in the back corner there. Those are hiding where the line goes through the wall down to Plainville. These were called add-a-unit expandable factories. My dad had a bunch of those, and I've kind of combined them together into this factory complex. I think that's an Atlas sawmill there. And over in here are some more Walther structures. That's the Superior Baking Company, which was the other Revell structure that came with the engine house. That one's pretty much as it was built. The raised bar on the corner here, my father-in-law, Ray Liebensberger, always wanted to own a bar and never got the chance, so I built one for him on the layout. So now you're looking at the Boston, Montreal, Springfield, and Cedar Hill yard staging. There's 7 tracks in there. That plus the 11 tracks in the other staging means I can run 14 over the road trains before I have to restage. And this is under the stairs to the second floor. I don't recommend this if you can find another way to build a staging yard. So this is the west cut. This is what people see when they walk into the layout. It's the first thing that I built. I wanted it to be finished so that people could see what was going to become of the rest of the layout. And for me, just to have something that I could look at and say, good, this is done. It's not particularly prototypical of the West End of New Haven, but again, it gets the idea across that it runs through this cut to get out of town. The one signature structure here that you'll see maybe a little later on the very right is Frank Pepe's Pizzeria Neapolitana. It's the pizza place on the west. It has the best pizza, they say, in the United States of America. We could argue about that, I guess. The backdrop came from Lark Products and is a conglomeration of a great many things I put together to hide the fact that the track runs through the wall there to go down to the New York staging. So this is New Haven in about 1950. The far end there is where the tracks leave for New York. There's a small yard. There's the motor storage. The station building, which is represented by a Bachman department store, and it's just a flat to kind of give you some perspective on an island layout. There were many more tracks than this in the New Haven station. If I wanted to do the complete model, I'd need an airplane hangar probably. The engine service facilities that you see here were part of that, but they were at the other end. That would have put the turntable in a very inaccessible location, and we decided that wasn't going to do. And the gas tanks were an icon of the New Haven skyline in the 1950s. And of course you can see the catenary, which is by Model Memories. So this is train OB1 from Maybrook to Boston. It's got to run through the station trackage here to get up to Cedar Hill and then on to Boston. The two FAs are Walther's train line. The FB in the middle with the sound is Rapido FB2. We like Rapido and they like the New Haven. So this is the Canal line local, which is going to run up to Plainville and then Farmington and do the switching up there, and then returns back down here with the cars that it's picked up. It has to get out onto the main, and then we have to throw the switch and back it up. This is an Atlas RS1. New Haven had a lot of those. And the third car in this brand new state of Maine car just arrived on the property. This train has come down from Boston behind one of the New Haven's iconic I-5 shoreliners. We have a 10-minute station stop here to take the steam engine off and put the electrics on to take it down to New York. Today this train is going to be taken to New York by a pair of the pioneering EP1 pony motors. These are the last two left on the railroad. And they normally wouldn't get this kind of work, but there must be a power shortage today. And enjoy your trip to New York.